It's the Tuck and Tuck Show, brought to you by The Arb at Tappan Square, Prestige Detailing, Oberlin Weekly, Now let's welcome the hosts of Tuck and Tuck Show, Ahmad and Khalid.
We're back again. I'm back again. I was replaced last week by my nephew, and everybody's saying that he should be doing the show now. So I don't know. I'm starting to wonder, man.
It's only your mom says that.
Kid comes in and sits in here in my seat one time, and everybody's like, "Oh yeah, he was really good."
Well, hey.
He's not here today. I'm back. Welcome to Tuck and Tuck, man. This is we're getting down to the wire. Episode 16.
Yeah, we got quite a few in the can and behind us. So.
Yeah, I've had a couple weeks off. It's been pretty nice.
Yeah, I've been here. You've been off, but I'm always here. So
I got a real job.
well, anyway, that's true. Anyway, now that we're back, a lot of stuff has happened. LeBron broke the record. He broke Kareem's record.
That was, he was going to get that regardless.
Yeah, but it's over with. I mean, where does he rate? Where do you rate LeBron?
I don't think he's as good as MJ was. He longevity, yeah. I don't think he's the GOAT, man. MJ's my GOAT, man. I don't care what nobody says.
Well, you come from that generation.
Yeah, just think. He had 6 rings, man, and he was off for 2 years. If he would have played those 2 years, he probably would have had 8 rings. LeBron's got what, 3?
LeBron
4?
He's got 4 rings, but he went for like 10 years in a row, and he dragged some terrible teams to the finals.
MJ went every year he played.
Yeah, but MJ had
his first
look who MJ took with him. He had Scottie Pippen, Horace Grant, Dennis Rodman. He had some of the greatest 3-point shooters ever in Kerr, Hodges, B.J. Armstrong. LeBron took Ilgauskas to the finals.
Wally Zerbiak.
Yeah, Wally Zerbiak, bro. Come on. They were terrible. Ira Newble.
Those were good players, man, for this generation.
No,
that was just the best you guys had in this generation.
No,
what can I
weren't.
say?
And then if you look at LeBron, he's number 4 in assist.
Yeah, but his he's like number 2 in most shots taken too.
Yeah, but they still got more shots than he take more shots per game than LeBron ever did. Plus, LeBron got to be the point guard. He got to rebound. He got to post up. He got to be the GM. He does everything. Well, Michael Jordan just showed up with Scottie and they balled out.
No,
that was it.
No.
He didn't have no say over the roster.
That's when we had to playing the Pistons a mess. He was getting beat up.
Yeah, well, yeah, and you got to remember he lost a lot of games. When LeBron, he played the Pistons when he was young. He went for 25 straight. Went to the finals.
That wasn't the same Pistons.
Hey, the Pistons are
that wasn't the bad boy Pistons.
And they were broke
the
down by
Pistons.
then. The Pistons had been to the finals. They went against the Lakers a couple years, and then they finally got every team has that window, and when they get old, that's it. So when it's over, it's over. So LeBron, I don't think he's going to win any more rings.
No, I think he's done.
We'll see. But the Cavs are playing pretty good. They won like 4 in a row, but they're on the bum of the month club right now. So,
Kyrie Irving left New Jersey. KD left New Jersey.
They won a total of 16 games between Kyrie, Durant, and Harden.
That's it.
They
never played together.
They never played together.
They were always hurting and everything else. That was a squad. If they could have played together,
but they couldn't get it together. Something's wrong with they all got. You couldn't build a team of great people, but if you don't have great people that are behind the athletic ability, sometimes it won't work.
Yeah, you need help.
If Magic would have came to the Lakers and said, "Look, Kareem, this is my team," it might have been a problem, but he always deferred to Cap, and that's how they won so many times. Like, well, Cap was going to tell him, like, "Hey, man, give me the ball. I'm going to foul out and go sit down."
Go sit down. Yeah.
That was it.
Well,
that's how it worked. But every team, you have to have a certain chemistry, or it ain't going to work.
Yeah.
It won't work. You can throw a bunch of great guys together, but that don't mean it's going to work.
No, and you still need guys off the bench, too.
And you need somebody that can coach them.
Yeah.
So
For sure.
All that is important. But moving on from basketball, Super Bowl's coming up.
Who you taking?
Taking the Eagles.
Kansas City, man. I gotta go.
I know. I like Kansas City.
I gotta go with my boy, man. Mahomes a bad boy.
He is. I like Mahomes a lot, but that defense and
you got Andy Reid knows how to coach too, man. I think that's going to be the difference.
If the Chiefs won, I wouldn't be upset or surprised. But if I had to put money on it, I'd bet on the Eagles.
Yeah, I wouldn't bet at all on this game. It's too close.
No, I wouldn't bet. But
this game's going to be a good one.
It
should be.
All that stuff coming out now with all those betting sites, man. People are going crazy.
They got a betting site inside the stadium. You can go in at any time and make bets during the game.
If you want to make money, what you should do is go in the stock market and see if those are on the stock market, because that's what's making all the money.
If what's on the stock?
If the FanDuel and all that, if they're traded publicly,
yeah,
because they're making money.
Oh yeah, they're gonna make a ton of money.
The people that put all those betting sites out, they're not putting them out there for no reason.
No. They're gonna get paid. Well, it's just like any casino. They're in the business of making money.
And everybody's in those things now. It's amazing how many have popped up. But I've never been on it. I know guys that bet a lot. And I keep telling them, be careful, because you can get sucked in on that stuff, man.
And most of them do. They're betting every week, man. Just putting it in on the phone.
Putting it in on the phone. It's too easy.
It's too easy. Yeah, it's too easy. You could be hooked in no time.
Yeah, I tell a lot of young guys, like, hey, be careful with that, man. Is it tied to your bank account? Yeah.
Yep.
Like, oh, man,
They'll drain you.
For trouble.
They'll drain you.
Because once you get in that vicious cycle, he's like, well, if I lose, I can just make it back.
Yeah.
And it don't always work that way.
Yeah.
So today coming up, we got the mayor.
Yeah,
mayor of Elyria,
Frank Whitfield, first black mayor of Elyria, Ohio.
This is a big show for us today, because we never have nobody of that magnitude on the show.
Besides Kurt Russell.
And then next week it should be Chase Ferris. Hopefully he'll be on the show.
That should be a good one too.
Yeah. So I mean, let's go. Malik.
Did he ever play pro ball? I know he played for Ohio State.
For the Patriots.
He played for the Patriots.
Yeah, he got a Super Bowl ring and a national championship ring.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, come on, man. This is the Tuck and Tuck show, man. We'll put no scrubs on here. This is legit.
It's getting hard to get
big
people.
Time. Well, it's getting bigger and bigger. Well, we had to get out of Oberlin and move on to bigger and better things. If people don't want to come on the show.
That's why we're going to Elyria.
Yeah, go to Elyria, Lorraine, Cleveland. Pretty soon, worldwide.
I think maybe we should get some of our guests from Vietnam. We got
Vietnamese
followers now, man. I looked at that, all these crazy names. I was like, oh, this is great.
Worldwide.
We're international, man.
Yeah, I want to see. I'll take some groupies from anywhere in the world. Don't matter. Just got to pass some screenings. You got to pass a couple screenings.
COVID tests.
Yeah, then I was talking to somebody about people get wives from overseas, but did you know that if you get a wife from overseas and you get divorced, you still got to pay for 10 years. You got to take care of them for 10 years after that.
I don't have that problem.
No,
it's never going to happen.
But if you get married in America, you got to take care of them forever.
Forever. Yeah, well, it depends how long you've been married and which state you're in.
It's the same thing. So, and don't forget, it's Black History Month. So everybody celebrate Black History. Know any Black History facts?
Which ones you want to know? I mean, who invented what? Or
there's a lot of them out there, man.
There's a whole long list. I was looking at the other day. I was like, oh, I didn't know somebody black did that.
Yeah,
it's a big old list, man.
Yeah, a lot of stuff.
We invented a whole lot of stuff.
So that's the big thing. Black History Month is right coming up now, and like you said, we had the first black mayor of Elyria. So
yeah, it should be pretty interesting.
It should be. And as far as Black History facts go, it's a small fact that I didn't realize.
This is some BS.
No, it's not.
This is all right. Let me hear it.
It's a small fact.
Let me hear it. But I think this is going to be some BS.
No. This is for real. This is serious. I was at work, and I was talking to a lady, and I was telling her about a funeral, and I said I went to a repast, and she was a white lady, and she stares at me, and she goes, "What are you talking about?" I go, "A repast." I didn't know that a lot of white people didn't know what a repast was.
No.
You knew that?
It was from slavery.
I didn't know. I never knew that.
Duh.
But I never knew.
I thought you said you were the smartest one in the family.
But I didn't. I know what a repast is. I didn't realize that a lot of other people didn't know.
Yeah.
And then I asked like five other people white, and they said, no, I never heard of that before.
Never heard of that. No.
I'm like, what? I said, so when you go to a funeral and you have dinner after that, what do you call it? They're like, is this luncheon or dinner?
Yeah. They don't do that.
Yeah, I didn't know. But I thought everybody called it a repast.
No.
All right, speaking of repass, we're going to go ahead and pass on to the next segment and wrap this one up.
We're going to be back with Mayor Frank Whitfield on the Tuck and Tuck Show.
Hi, welcome to the Art. Thank you. Have a great day. Come again.
Welcome back to the Tuck and Tuck Show. Today's guest is brought to you by the Arb at Tappan Square.
Hey, welcome back to the Tuck and Tuck Show. We are here with Mayor Frank Whitfield from Elyria, Ohio. Elyria's first black mayor.
Elected mayor. There was a black mayor
There was
before.
one before you?
Yep, he was in office. He was a long-standing council member. And after the mayor at the time lost the election, I guess they just said, we're going home. We're not going to wait till January. So they had to appoint somebody. So he got appointed as mayor. And he was mayor for 2 weeks.
But he wasn't elected mayor.
No, I'm the first African-American mayor elected in Lorain County's history.
And you're young, too, man.
30. I was elected at 32. 32 is when I was.
What made you want to be mayor? How did that all come about?
I really felt it was a calling by God. You know, it definitely wasn't in my life plan. You know, I always wanted to be an inventor when I was younger, but as I got older, you know, I started to form a career in a nonprofit space. And, you know, my role right before doing this was president of the Urban League, where I got a chance to interface with a lot of business folks, a lot of minority businesses in particular. So I went to school to get my MBA while I was the president of the Urban League. So I had the goal of getting a family business and really trying to make some money. But God called me to go this direction. So I've learned over the years, when God calls you to do something, that's what you follow. Yeah. So I dropped my bags and my plan on that and set out by faith to do this. And we made history. And I did not think 3 months into the job I'd be dealing with a global pandemic, but it was what it was, you know. And
how was that dealing with the COVID?
It was crazy. It just, every decision felt like life and death.
You
know
was.
what I mean? Yeah, and it was like, if we open, what if somebody gets sick? If the staff is all together, what if somebody gets sick? And then we actually had people pass away, like people, like our family members in our office passed away. Mm-hmm. Clarence Ballard, you know, is from the WNZN in Lorain, the radio station. You know, his grandson works in my office, so we had direct impact seeing, no, this thing is real. And so it just was so much weight every day of just every decision seemed to be just so critical. And it's been hard snapping out of that mode, to be honest with you.
Oh, well, yeah.
Because it just was so real for so long. But I think we stood up strong as a city. We made sure the services kept going. We looked out for the seniors. We made sure nobody got left behind. You know, we made sure that, and it gave us a chance to kind of show what we were about, too, because people were kind of looking like, all right, we elected this guy. We took a risk on him. What is he about? And I think we got a chance to really show people, like, we didn't cut anybody's water off, even though they were delinquent. We suspended water cutoffs. We started delivering food to seniors once a week. So we did we put money in the small businesses to keep them going. So we did a lot of stuff to just make sure we, you know, kept the city going. And I think we built a lot of trust through that.
And what do you guys got going on to keep the city running? I mean, what's new in Elyria these days?
Oh my God, there's too much new going on. I say the biggest thing is downtown Elyria. We have a $40 million project, an esports arena that's being built. That's a big deal, you know, because there's nothing. And there's a couple small shops, but nothing like to the scale we're talking about, where we can host, you know, tournaments. Because, you know, these college teams have
like AAU basketball and stuff. They need that. That's
because you know these college teams have esports teams now.
Right.
Like, kids are getting scholarships. They're streaming live. They're making money. So we're going to be a place in Elyria where people are going to come from all over the place to compete with video games. It sounds crazy, but compete playing video games, and whether it's Call of Duty or I don't know all these games. I know the Madden and NBA 2K, but they're going to be competing with all different kind of games and around.
That's actually big money now, man. They have a tournament for that, and I think the winner gets $1 million.
Yeah, I saw a video the other day. they had like the Wolstein Center like almost sold out.
Yeah.
There's so many, and they cheering, going crazy. I'm
Right.
like, wow, this is something else. So I'm hoping we get that energy in the city downtown. So that's one of the biggest projects we got going on.
Oh, okay. What's going on with the swimming pool, man?
Yeah, I know, it's interesting. The city of Elyria at one point had 4 swimming pools,
You're right.
one on each side of town. And when money got funny, 2 of the pools got closed. Unfortunately, the sides of town where those pools got closed are primarily people of color or people of low means. So you have the west side and the south side both have their pools closed. So we have 2 left, the north pool and east pool. And we know right now we're at a place where those pools are in bad shape. They've been around for a long time. So we have to rebuild them. So we're proposing just to build one strong pool,
Okay.
and try to put it in the center of the city somewhere. The city has grown through annexation and other means, where now the East Park is kind of like really the center of the city. So that's our location that we're looking at primarily to build a whole new aquatic center there. And we know people really want to see an indoor aquatics, but those are costly. But y'all did it in Oberlin, so we always point at them as the model. The fortunate thing y'all had out here is, folks like the Nord family who are willing to put in millions of dollars.
We got a high tax rate too.
Yeah.
We pay for it.
You pay for it in other ways.
Yeah, we got a hell of a tax rate in Oberlin, man.
But I mean, I was born in Oberlin. My family, most of them moved here to Oberlin. My grandfather is from all my family, which y'all probably know, the Isams.
Oh, yeah.
They moved from Oxford, Mississippi up here. My grandfather, after he served in the Army, used money from service and moved his family up here. And he made the decision he was going to move in Elyria because he wanted to be close but not too close. And then the rest of the family was moved here to Oberlin. So, I've always had a love for Oberlin, born here. I went to high school 1 year. I did like a free agency thing and played basketball my senior year here, and then went back to Elyria and graduated from Elyria. But this is a special place. So, though y'all pay that additional taxes, there's a spirit here in Oberlin that you pay for that I think is special.
Till you get that tax bill every year.
But y'all got some great amenities here. You got great amenities, and it's a small town. You got less than 10,000 folks here.
Right.
City of Elyria is 53,000 people. It's the 14th largest city in the state. It's a lot of people.
How's the housing problem over there? I know they're doing a lot of building of houses.
Yeah.
But low income families are still having trouble with housing.
No doubt about it. Yeah. So we definitely have in the past 3 years we've had over 1,000 homes built.
Okay.
But all of them are in the $200,000-$300,000 range. So it's not really for new families or people who are maybe moderate income. So we started a community development corporation to try to change that and try to impact that. So we're hoping to get some new affordable housing built within the city here in the next couple of years, now that this organization has got started.
Okay. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with Mayor Frank Whitfield.
Welcome back to the Tuck and Tuck Show. Today's guest is brought to you by The Arb at Tappan Square.
All right, we're back with Mayor Frank Whitfield. And during the break, we were talking, offset. And we mentioned violence, and we said we didn't think it was that violence. But you came up and you said some of it is normal and subjective.
Yeah.
So what's going on in Elyria as far as violence?
So what I was alluding to is when it comes to violence, it's very subjective. So I was sharing that if you're from Cleveland or inner city where there's shootings every day. You come to a place like Elyria and you're like, wow, this place is safe and chill and there's no issue here. If you come from a suburb of maybe 2,000 people and you hear somebody's gotten shot, that is like, whoa, this place is scary. So the subjectivity of that, and I think with a city of 53,000 people, as we were talking about before, 14th largest city, we are a very safe community in the grand scheme of things. However, there are pockets where violence has become acceptable. And that was, we were kind of talking off air around some of these historic neighborhoods like Wilkes Villa, South Park Apartments, where violence was somewhat of a daily occurrence and was just part of the day, is who's fighting today and who's, what's going on today. But that has transcended to today. Now there are guns involved, where it's not just, you fight, throw your hands and then go home. Now they're not even interested in fighting. They're the conflict, and then the gun is pulled. And so the consequences now are so deadly. And that's why we're trying to find a way to address this, not as a way we can arrest our way out of. We have to build relationships with these young people, show them a different way. We can't change, we can try to get the state to change their laws and the feds to change their laws around access to guns. But until then, we need to try to do what we can to encourage our young people to stay away from guns, to not resort to guns, and try to teach them healthy conflict management skills. And that's what we're doing. We're pulling together community partners, working with the Department of Public Health to try to get some violence interrupters. So when we start to hear the tension is brewing, that we can dispatch some people who these young people will respect, and they can kind of help resolve some of those conflicts to keep it from happening.
Okay, but it's been going on for so long. So there's got to be you got to think of another way. Like you said, you can't arrest yourself out of the problem. Mm-hmm. So do you bring in like maybe counselors, or do you bring in people to talk to the kids? Because if my friend gets shot and then I got a gun, I'm young. Yes. I don't know any better. So I'm like, well, if they kill my boy, I'm going back after them. Yeah. Yes. So how do you tell them, like, you can't do that because it's a never ending cycle. Yes. So I know you're one person, and I know you got good intentions, but how do you teach a kid that? Because kids, and it seem like they're getting a little bit worse. Mm-hmm. But maybe because I'm older and I see it from a different vantage point. It seems like, because like you said during the break, people used to fight and go home. Mm-hmm. Now they're bringing guns into the situation. I don't see how, from your office, I don't know what you can do. So do you have any ideas on what you can do?
For sure. So I think what we're doing is the right start, which is bringing together law enforcement, our police department, with community partners, with our churches, in our schools, to talk, to plan and strategize and figure out ways to work together, so that one, we can prevent. I think prevention is the best medicine. If we can just prevent young people from acts of violence and prevent them from picking up a gun, that's the ultimate goal. And I think that comes from having quality after school programs. That comes from mentors. And again, it's not going to be me that does it. It's you all. It's folks saying, I'll take 2 or 3 kids. Y'all going to be interviewing Chase Ferris. I used to work at Save Our Children, where he's now the director. It's organizations like that where they're getting young people off the street, giving them something positive to do. When they get in those heated moments, they got somebody they can call, say, hey, Unc, I'm mad right now. I don't know who to talk to. I feel like I'm about to do something stupid. Hey, I'm on my way to pick you up. Where you at? It's those sort of relationships that we have to get to. And I don't think, when we talk about how many of these kids are, worse, there's nothing new under the sun. I think young people have always done dumb things. If you go to I hate to pick on OU, but if you go to Athens and look at OU, there's probably some drunk kid doing something stupid tonight. Yeah. The difference is in OU, they don't have guns and drugs right around them. So in our urban communities and our poor communities, when people do dumb things, there's a gun right there, and there's more volatile tools that lead to long-term consequences. So, as we all know, as young people, we've done dumb stuff. They have access to a different level of danger that I think we don't appreciate. That even you think about from a drug standpoint.
A lot of them have no value in life. And that's another problem that we have. Mm-hmm. They have, if you don't value somebody else, your own life, you definitely ain't going to value somebody else's.
Yeah, and for sure. I think that there's a There's a point you make on that on
when you're struggling every day and you
Yeah.
feel like there's no future, man.
yeah,
You know,
for sure.
It's
That's
rough,
a part of
but
it for sure.
Yeah,
And I think, a part of our job as adults is to reaffirm them and make sure that they see the value in themselves. A part of my journey was, hitting my head hard. I failed out of college my first year in school, and was really in a dark place, was in trouble. And a mentor and mentors started spending time with me, investing in me, and really started to point out the value. Like, man, you're really good at this. You're really good at that.
Right.
You mentioned earlier about, how well I am in articulating and speaking and whatnot. Well, my mentors pointed that out to me at 18. And, hey, you're really good at sharing your thoughts. I was a rapper at the time. That's why I was joking during the intro. That's why you hear that, yo.
Yo, Mayor, yo.
So, they really saw that in me. And I think that, again, that's where us as adults, as the lions in the jungle, we have to call out those young lions and show them the way and show value and say, hey, I know you might be getting in trouble because you're disruptive in class. That's not the place to use it. What we need you to do is disrupt this system of poverty over here. We need you to use that disruptive leadership you got and use it for a good cause. And I think that was big for me is, a lot of times, especially as young people, they get a bad rap on things, but really we can point that energy in the right direction. And that same thing that we may not appreciate, like, again, disturbing, like, man, you're really disrupting and disturbing this class. Well, we know there's a lot of rooms that need to get disturbed and disrupted because they're doing the same thing over and over and need some disruptive leadership. So,
Yeah, the crazy part is listening to you talk. I had my son on here last week, and he's close to your age, and he said almost the exact same thing. He said, I was in college, and I was in the dark place, and I pulled myself out of it. And then he has a great career now. But a lot of people, they go to college that first year, and they don't know how to manage their time, or they got too much free time. It's kind of overwhelming. So a lot of those guys fall through the cracks as well. And I know Elyria has something to do with like LC3, so that's probably pretty helpful for those people that are in that situation.
For sure. So we, one of my goals, and so I was a student at LCC. So again, I failed out LCC. I came back to LCC, ended up graduating, eventually got my bachelor's degree and now my master's degree. So I'm a big proponent of education. So getting in office, I'm like, I want every person to have this opportunity. So we created a program called Skill City, where any resident in the city of Elyria can go to LCC for free. As long as they're pursuing an in-demand career, they can go for free. And I've noticed Oberlin's doing something like that. They're modeling what we've done here. So it's been cool to see other cities start to pick that up. But to me, education is the key. And young people getting a skill, get something that they know they're good at that they can go into the world with.
Yeah. All right. We're going to go to break because we only got a minute left. We're going to go to break. And we're going to come back for one more segment. Is that all right?
Yep, that works.
Real Oberlin stories, real Oberlin people.
We have a big story coming.
Welcome back to the Tuck and Tuck Show. Today's guest is brought to you by The Arb at Tappan Square.
All right, we're back with Mayor Frank Whitfield. Before you became mayor, you worked at the Urban League.
Yeah.
And I just want to know now, when you decide to run and you run as an independent,
Yeah.
you're married. Yeah. So you had to have these discussions, but now these are what I want to know about. You have to have these discussions with your wife when you say, "Look, I know I got a good job. And you have 4 girls, right?
At the time, we had 3. Yep.
You got 4. Well, you have 3 girls at the time, and you go up to her and you say, "Listen, I want to run for mayor." What did she tell you?
So, So first off, my wife, Kalina, is amazing because she stepped out on faith with me so many times on our journey. I met her at church, and it's funny, when we met, she already had a daughter at the time. And so there was this young kid who was like selling these dreams of like, I love you and I want to, I know I ain't got a full-time job now, but I'm gonna get one, and I'm gonna take care. And she took, and I did. I went and got me a full-time job, and after I got that full-time job at the college, I was like, yo, I told you, let's, I'm serious about this. Let's do this. So she's been a part of my journey, and she was actually at the church service where the preacher at the time, who the church was founded in Oberlin, at Oberlin College, is the Knights, Kimasha and James Knight.
I know it. I used to live down the street from him on Mount Vernon.
Yeah. So I was at their church when during the service, and she was there when the preacher came up to me and said, in 10 years, you'll be mayor of the city of Elyria. Wow. And so she heard that. So when that 10-year mark got closer, God started speaking through people in weird ways where I'm like, Kalina, babe, I think I'm supposed to do this. And she's like, well, don't you know you would have to quit your job to do this? And, you make a decent living right now. How are we going to pay the bills? I'm like, I don't know, but this is what I feel. She's like, well, God got to talk to me and show me that as well. And sure enough, we went to another church service, went to a different church and went to another church service. And long story short, I'm standing at the altar, raising my hand as they praying for the men of the church. And the preacher comes over to me and she says, I saw you raising your hand and God showed me you taking an oath of office. Do you want to be mayor?
Wow.
And I'm like, so my wife was there. She heard it. She's like, yo, we knew like, yo, God is calling us to do this. So she knew like, yo, we got to do it. And so it was the scariest thing in life, but it was also the most liberating I've ever felt in my life. The year 2019 was one of the best years of my life because I truly just had to trust in God. Like, I didn't know how we was going to pay our bills. I didn't know, but I spent more time with my kids. I was with my kids all the time. I was, I ended up on the Today Show for doing my daughter's hair. Like that, I went to a daddy-daughter hair class that ended up on the Today Show. It was just so liberating. But it was tough. There was tough days as well. We're like, all right, this bill is coming. We see this thing, but God always provided. And when we won, we just knew that, okay, we did what we were supposed to do. And that's where we're at right now with this role. It's just like, we know we did what we were supposed to do. And I didn't know there was going to be a global pandemic 3 months into it. And I'm praying now of just like, God, because this politics stuff it's ridiculous, man. It's not, it's so finicky and people lie all the time and people act one way in private then change it up in public. It's not what I'm used to. I'm used to straight up and down. If this is how you feel about me, this is how I feel about you. It is what it is. I'm not gonna act like I like you and then
stab you in the back.
Yeah, I'm just not used to. And then when it does happen, I'm used to, I'm gonna confront you about it as well. And in this realm, it's like, nah, you can't confront folks. You come off this way. So I'm always taking the high road with folks, and it's challenging. But I also see that if I choose to leave, I'm setting an example for good people that if good people keep leaving out of politics, it's going to keep going down. The reason why politics is so horrible now, because good people are like, I ain't dealing with that. And because of that, I'm telling you, the people who are in there, we need to change the folks who are at the table, because a lot of these folks, they don't really have a sense of service or care for the people. It's more about, their individual names or getting their family members on, or, they're more interested in their own, growth. And, I'm not in this to make a political career. I'm in this to make a difference and change lives and break cycles. So, this year, this is my first time defending the role, and, I'm staying as an independent in this race. And so there's a Republican challenger, a Democrat challenger. And so it's interesting because I'm trying to convince folks, like, don't let the party stuff fool you. Don't allow the letters by people's names fool you. Focus on what that individual has done. That's the best predictor of what they're going to do. And focus on what we need as a city. And is this person committed to doing it, and can they do it? That goes for mayor and council.
Now, how hard is it to run as an independent? Because when you're part of a party, you have people that back you, have money that backs you, and you're just out there on your own. Yeah. So that makes it way more difficult for you to run. Yeah. Because you need support from the people, from somewhere. Yeah. So where does your support come from?
It's everyday people. It's everyday people who just, believe in me. And they make, every little small donation adds up. Our last campaign really relied on volunteers and just grassroots hard work. We knocked on thousands of doors. But it's different because those parties, they got a bank,
Right.
treasury sitting there waiting, and it makes the role definitely more difficult, but it was more rewarding too.
But as an independent, it's more freer to run because when you're part of a party, you're always connected to somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're running as a Democrat and they go, well, he's gonna do like Biden, or if you run as a Republican, he's gonna be like Jim Jordan.
Yeah.
You don't have those affiliations
For sure.
So whatever you say is just coming straight from you. It's not a
Exactly.
party line. It's just I'm Frank Whitfield.
Exactly.
You know what I've done, and this
Exactly.
is what I'm. So it makes it a little bit easier for you.
I think if you can get your message out, politics always, boils down to, can you get your message out? Because if people don't know you or know about you, then they don't know to vote for you. So my challenge is, they got the money to get on commercial, to get billboards. We got no billboard. Last campaign, we did no billboards, no commercials. Everything was grassroots, big yard signs in people's yards who are willing to let us put oversized yard signs in their yards. So there is a liberty to it and a freedom to it that is something I appreciate. But it's not easy, as you mentioned.
Yeah, because Elyria is normally a Democratic run. So you're going to have a challenger from the Democrat and Republican.
Yeah, and mind you, when I won, I beat an incumbent Democrat and I beat another independent. When I ran last time, I ran against the current mayor and the former mayor. So the people had a choice. They could keep things the way they were. They could go back to the way things were, or they could vote for me.
It was Brenda and Grace, right?
Yeah. And so
people hated Grace. Well, I don't know about Brenda, but people, you know what? I don't live in Elyria, but every time I would ride down, was it 57, and see that project that he never finished?
Yeah,
I'm like, he ain't gonna. People ain't gonna vote for Grace.
It's so unfortunate because that's the thing about politics, and I'll be honest with you on this. Grace did a whole lot for the city of Elyria. So South Rec was built under his administration. City Hall, Municipal Court, Elyria Police, the River Walk at Cascade Park, like big multi-million-dollar but all he's remembered by is like rose bushes, and so to me it just shows like you can't measure yourself based upon how people view you during your time. You'll be judged by history, because when you look at then the next administration, you didn't really see any big projects like that, and like potentially was more liked, and that's the sometimes depressing part of this job. I always think about this guy Moses Levergood. He was a mayor back in in the early 1900s. He was the mayor that decided we're gonna buy land in the city of Lorraine and pump water from Lorraine into the city of Elyria. It was a transformational idea. He went into depression and didn't even run again. And because of that decision, like the city of Elyria has made and saved millions of dollars. We pump our own water. We're not relying on anybody. We sell water to other cities. And the guy who made that decision, he got so much pushback that it drove him into depression. And he said, I'm walking away for this. So I keep that in my heart as I'm thinking about and making decisions that, it's not to be liked in this moment, and you got to be thinking the long game.
Right, because the next question I have for you was like, okay, you're the mayor. Half the people are going to like you, half are not. You know what I'm saying? This is just the nature of the game. They'll find something to not like you for. But after talking to you, I was going to say, when you go home, how do you get away from all that?
Yeah.
But I know you said from talking to you, said you have a strong belief in God, which I'm sure is your greatest help.
Yes.
But it's probably also a lot of solace in your family, being with, because like you said, you have your daughters and your wife.
Yeah.
That's probably the most comfortable place you could be at when you go home, right?
Yeah, it's challenging because the stuff seeps. Like my kid today was talking politics at school. My 7-year-old. So she just slipped it out, and she's like, "Yeah, I was talking to kids today at school about what you said, because we had an issue with one of the buildings downtown. One of the facades of the building came out. So my 7-year-old's talking about that at school today. So it's like I'm trying to get them to like isolate them from it and incubate them from it, and it's hard. And so my philosophy has always been just bring my family along for the ride. And when I was president of Urban League, I was always traveling with my family. But in this world. Politics, and we're so angry in America right now that the level of scrutiny and the criticism is so loud. You know, you put, I put stuff on Facebook, or like yesterday, I put something on there, something that super positive. Having a meeting with business folks, talking about the future of the city. People are like nitpicking every little thing. Oh, where did y'all get the food from the luncheon? Did you support a local business? It's like, just like,
just enjoy the good things I'm doing, right?
Yeah, it's like, but there's such a and then these algorithms kind of reward negativity, so it's like it doesn't help in that regard. So, we're in for a ride as a country. This isn't unique to Elyria. I think when I see, even you mentioned President Biden has gotten more legislation passed in these 2 years of office than I've seen in my lifetime. Right. Bipartisan infrastructure law, millions of dollars to get roads, bridges, and things done. American Rescue Act, which if we didn't get that money, we would be laying off police officers and firefighters right now. The CHIPS Act, which is helping bring in Intel to Ohio, thousands of jobs, millions of dollars coming to the state. The bipartisan gun piece. But people think it's the worst thing ever. So again, I'm like, if he can get all this done and get this sort of rip, there's just like not a lot of hope in the fanfare. And that's, you just can't do it for the fanfare. Yeah. I try to think like an athlete. I try to think like, LeBron can't be worried about the fans. He has to worry about winning the championship, and I have to have that same sort of discipline of like, I can't let the fans get in here. I can't let them get between my ears. I have to drown out the noise. If I miss the shot, my bad, go for the next shot. I have to stay focused and make sure we're focused on trying to win a championship for the city. And that's how I think about Elyria. We're trying to win a championship.
All right. Well, you know what? We're going to wrap it up right there. Try to win a championship for the city. That sounds like a good slogan. Little slogan. But it's been great talking to you.
Likewise.
Good luck with the election.
Thank you.
We don't live in Elyria. We live in Oberlin. But if you live in Elyria, I'm sure you're available. You can talk to you probably on your website if you got questions, whatever. Don't just be out there yelling into the void about he didn't do this or he didn't do that. Be positive and try to reach out to him because you'll respond, right?
No doubt. You can reach me. You can go on cityofelyria.org if you want to reach me in my formal capacity as mayor. You can go mayor@cityofelyria.org if you want to email me directly. In my personal or political email, it's elect. You can go on frankwhitfield.com. You can go on frankwhitfield.com. You can learn more about me. You can donate. You can volunteer on frankwhitfield.com.
All right. Well, we're going to wrap this up, and I'd like to thank you again. You've been an awesome guest.
Awesome.
You're a very I'm going to tell you this. I had my son on last week, and I have you on this week, and I'll do hopefully Chase Ferris next week. Mm-hmm. And sometimes as I get older, I get cynical. But you guys give me hope for the future. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, well, these guys are positive. They're doing stuff. So keep up the good work. Keep doing what you're doing. We're proud of you in Oberlin. We can't vote for you, but we're glad you're doing a good job in Elyria. And before we go, we'd like to thank. I got a whole bunch of stuff to read.
Yes, please do your thing.
So we're gonna. You want me to cut Matt and then come back? No. You can cut this out anyway. February 26th at 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. is our official merch launch. We gave the mayor a nice T-shirt. You want to hold that up for me?
Yep, I'll be rocking
there
this.
You go. See, there you go. Yep. So that'll be at Black River Wine Shop and Bar. Also, Bill Long Foundation annual meeting will be held on Wednesday, April 5th. For more information, visit blfoberlin.org. Big shout out to all our supporters. We have reached over 5,000 followers.
That's awesome.
Through all our outlets and have all. I hate reads. Through all our outlets and have over 100,000 engagements and interactions. Remember to follow Tuck and Tuck social media accounts: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok. Send your questions for the season finale to Showtime at Tuck and Tuck. We'll be answering some fans' questions, and we might just pick yours. Thanks, sponsors Prestige Detailing, ARB, and Oberlin Weekly.
Terrible.
What, to read? Yeah, I'm not good at reading. If I know it, I can ask you, but maybe we'll just have to cut that out and do it another time. Because I'm reading it. I've never seen it. It is long, man. Thanks for making it so long. And don't forget to vote for the one chip challenge or the removal of the hat.